Hey, welcome to tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hey, I'm Suze. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, I wanted to let you know that I still have not heard back from Marshal Chris, the United States Marshal in Nevada, on my missing mother, Brenda Nisley, and I have not heard back from anybody else on my missing family. So what I have done is that I humbly asked the local police department where I am if they could perhaps help me with this, because they went to law enforcement school and I went to nursing school, and there's just some things that I don't understand. And oh my gosh, it was so wonderful the other night. A police officer came out right to the room that you see right here, and he was so kind, he was so nice, and he said that he would help me, and he wasn't mean, he didn't attack me, didn't threaten me, he didn't like yell at me for asking and all of that. And he was like, oh, because it's complex, and I think I'm gonna have to it's gonna have to do some more work on it. And he wanted to know if I was working tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah, I'm working at the hospital tomorrow. So, but he's such a nice guy, and but here's the thing, this is what has happened. All of a sudden, see, I found a nice police officer. I got a nice police department, and all of a sudden, I can't get a renewal on my travel contract. I am a travel nurse. I'm working here and there at the district of a nice police department with nice police officers, and I cannot get a renewal contract so I can stay here longer than 13 weeks. They have done this before. They have done this in other cities and states in which I find, law enforcement that would be willing to help me, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it's like the bad guys are finding out that, oh wait, Susan's going to get help from law enforcement. Oh no, we can't have that. So they find a way to steer me out of the district. I mean, Mark Moore is a federal government employee, one of these jerks. He has actually manipulated one of my companies in Las Vegas and manipulated global staffing. I wouldn't be surprised if he has done that. Him or some of his other friends, some of his FBI friends have done that outside of just Las Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it to my company right now. And the pattern that has happened in other districts. Now keep in mind, now if I'm working in a city in which they use a lot of travel nurses, contract staffing nurses, which is like where I am now, these nurses are coming from all different parts of the country. And so I have a feeling what is happening is that these nurses are getting hacked in some way in other cities or states. And so when they come here to where I am, then somehow they're manipulating things at the hospital, misrepresenting me at the hospital, making stuff up, whatever the heck they're doing, or the bad law enforcement may be somehow manipulating the hospital so they don't do a contract renewal, or manipulating the travel company. I mean, they could be hitting it in three ways. They could be hitting the travel nurses, they could be hitting the travel company, they could be hitting the hospital all at the same time. But the goal is for me to not stay within a city or state in which I would get any kind of law enforcement help at any level. That has happened down in Texas. That happened with one of my Homeland Security special agents. It's like I pretty much have given up on trying to keep within his district. There's just no way, because every time I try to get a contract down there or go staff at one of the hospitals, that never seems to pan out. And it's basically because the bad law enforcement doesn't want me to be around good law enforcement. It's very, very sad. It's very hard for somebody like me then to be able to get any kind of resolution or even any kind of more information on a really, really whole big disaster with my missing family. Because keep in mind, the situation has been cited not just within the United States with this Homeland Security letter, it's also been cited internationally with the International Criminal Court, because there are transnational components in the mix of this case that has ultimately harmed me, my son, and my family. It's very, very sad, but it is human trafficking. So if you don't know anything at all about human trafficking, a lot of states have coalitions against human trafficking. You can usually find the information on the state attorney general's website, or even on the governor's website, or you can learn about human trafficking by going to the Homeland Security website and going to what's called the Blue Campaign. They have a Facebook page called the Blue Campaign, or also you can just go to www.dhs.gov and type in Blue Campaign, and they actually have a whole course on human trafficking if you're just not familiar with it. But human trafficking is a serious crime, and it affects so many people within the United States. That is one of the components within this case. But just know the organized crime piece of the day is that I cannot get or keep a contract within the district that I am, and it is an effort by the bad guys, by these traffickers, to steer me out of this district, and so I cannot get any kind of legal help. So if there's no legal help, then these guys never go to prison. Do you see? It's a vicious cycle. It's over and over again. But take time to learn about human trafficking. It's usually right out in front of your face. But that's it on tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away, and I'll see you next time. Good night.